Bastard bollocks shite.
Right.
All right.
I'm hitting the go live button. Are we live? It says we're live, so that means it's time for me to read out the following. You are listening to Let's Go JoJo, the weekly JoJo's Bizarre Adventure podcast about weekly anime from Dynamite in the Brain and Secret of the Sailor Madness. So come along and hang with the Let's Go gang. It's Dwayne.
Hello.
It's Niall.
How are you?
And it's me, Brian. And on this episode, we are covering anime that aired the week of January 21st to January the 27th, 2023. With the exceptions of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Part 6, Stone Ocean, Episode 31, Heavy Weather, Part 2.
Phew.
In which Versus goes, hey, I've read that guy's memories, let me fill you in on what his deal is.
Take the thing about this now, yes. And this one almost felt like he was a little kind of bonus, something in the spirit of like a just spoke Kishibe Rohan, where he was like a scary story with moral ambiguity to it. Which side do you fall on? What conclusions do you draw from it? Who knows?
Who's in the wrong here?
Yes, I wrote down, this is a good return to like pure pulp / gothic sleaze.
Yeah, I was just trying to look just there about like who fucking directed it or boarded it, because it just seems like leagues away from.
Yes.
I wouldn't say what we've been mired in, but it's just felt like fun. We got like from fight our way through a succession of dudes to get to the big boss. This felt like, which is fine. It's part of JoJo too. But this is like, oh yeah, it's really kind of laying on the atmosphere here. It's great.
Yeah, it's very, it feels very Mike Mignola, Frank Miller in its heavy shadows that it's using. I think there was an episode of Part 5 which did the same, if I remember correctly, but I didn't check to see if it's shared any talent. And also, I'd also have to remember which episode it was that I was thinking of. The sleaze this time, though, is it's incest and swapped babies. Those two goes tos of gothic sleaze as we follow the Pucci family's traumas and problems as
misfortunes.
We learn that Pucci, he was a twin, but his brother died almost straight just immediately after birth, and so he's always felt alone. He's got a younger sister. He turns to God and the clergy as he's pondering the death of his brother, and has a run-in with a man in his church who would set anybody else should set multiple alarm bells off.
I mean, like,
this seems like that level. I don't know many homeless persons who are this well spoken.
Was that when Pucci was studying in a seminary? Was he in Florida or was he in Italy at that stage?
I think they're in America, aren't they?
They're in like the southern United States.
See, I was wondering, was Pucci visiting Florida, Italy, which would be easier for a certain vampire called Dio to get there than it would be to get to Florida. What are you doing in Florida, Dio?
He's traveling around. He's taking in the world. He's seeing what he missed when he was at the bottom of the ocean.
Also, what are you doing scurrying under pews, tripping up
young priests? Yeah.
Just having a nap. I feel comfortable in enclosed spaces. I'm one of those people.
Yeah, and his explanation is like, Ian's like, what the fuck are you doing? The seminary's closed. Get the hell out, man. And he's like, I'm allergic to sunlight, Father. Can I wait until the sunset? And he's like, well, that'll be fine. I won't squeal you out. He's like, oh, maybe you're gonna do it anyway, or maybe I'm here to rob the place. Have you ever thought about that? And he's like, no, not really. Oh shit, did I hurt your leg when I tripped you up with my weird cockroach moving? It's like, no, I have like a club foot, so don't worry about it. That's nothing to do with you. It's like, here's a magic arrow.
Maybe you were destined to meet. It's funny you ran into each other here. Here. You seem pretty cute. If you ever want to take over the world or anything, give me a call. He's out of there. He's gone. Like, whoa, that was weird. My foot, it is healed. It is a sign from the Lord.
And while cleaning the confession box one day, accidentally his man walks in on him and confesses to him as if he's the priest, and he doesn't have time to explain. I was slightly confused with this. I thought he was the
kid
that was taken.
No, what happened was that so Weather and Pucci, they're fraternal twins. One's black, one's white. That happens.
Yeah. I mean, fraternal. They don't have the same
Anyways,
set of genes. Like
a poor misfortunate woman. Her child was like stillborn or died shortly after birth, and she was like just distraught as it would be. So in her despair, she snuck into like where the newborns are kept, and she swapped out one of the babies there. There's one of these twins, they got two, so they won't feel too bad off, and just left her lifeless child there and went off into the night with Weather. And Weather was raised, separately from them. He's a fine young man, he's a bit kind of headstrong, but he's got a good heart at the bottom of it.
Oh, sorry, I thought it was Poochie's mom. It was Weather's.
No, it's
mom.
Weather.
Yeah, I misunderstood that bit. Yeah, okay, that's the bit that confused
me. Because that's
Great.
why the racist detective later on gets his KKK mates to lynch Wes Bluemarine.
That's the one bit that kind of caught me a little bit. But and this woman is confessing it to the person she thinks is a priest, Poochie, who isn't a priest yet. He's still studying to be, and he can't say anything about it because that would be I've forgotten the proper term for it, but like breaking the sacrament.
Anything confessed in the confessional is sacrosanct.
Yeah, and he wouldn't be a great priest if he started telling anyone about that, if he told his sister about that, or Weather Report, or anything else. It's like, no, I can't tell anyone about it. But how can I solve this situation? Because my sister's dating her technical brother right now. That's
not technical, definite brother.
Definite brother.
No technical about it.
Blood relation brother. I mean, like they had a very good meet cute where he threw like soda cans at a would-be thief. That was nice. But yeah, it's a real pickle. I guess a private detective would be the best way to go with this, right? Yeah.
Yes. But you get just asked around, dude. It's like saying, "Oh, it's fun. If that's his brother, and that's his sister, then to like relate to fucking like a black one. I can't have to happen. That lads are gonna go beat this fucker up, and." Even though we're ostensibly here to protect the virtue of this young blonde woman, we're going to fucking menace her and ask for kisses off of her. So that if fucking gets doing in with that mob, and then Weather is hung, and then Perla, in her despair, jumps off the cliff to her doom. But she was just slightly kind of alive.
It was the Romeo and Juliet thing. It's like you gotta double check for a pulse. All right, that's very fucking important before you do the love tragedy thing. But no, she did the love tragedy thing like Romeo and Juliet. It's like don't double check, but she didn't. Yeah. So she killed herself, and then Poochie. I appreciate that he didn't find the body. He found her after the guys had fished her out of the lake. And he's just there. It's like, why God? Why do people meet? Why does all this thing? And then he remembers what a strange vampiric-like man once told him.
As an arrow shoots out of his sister's body into his neck, it's like, oh shit! She's like, it's like, when you've awakened to your power, come seek me out. It's like, whoa.
I was just thinking what the lads in the boat were thinking after I was like, oh my God, that's her brother. Wow, this really sucks. I was like, who's talking to me? Is that God? And they're just like, what the fuck?
Explodes.
And then his neck explodes. It's like, what the fuck is going on here? But the same thing has happened to old Wes up on the cliff.
But he also extracts his sister's memories as
as the first use of his power. Yeah.
Yes, it turns out, if a twin triggers their stand power, then their other twin will also get a stand power at the same time.
Well, we know that kind of works because Dio gave himself a stand power, and therefore Joseph Joestar, his Cade and Jotaro all awaken to stand powers at the same time. Like it's like it goes by bloodline, and it wasn't like it was Dio who got it, but he has a Joestar body, so it weirdly enough it infects your entire family line.
Yeah, but I prefer that more kind of is this like some kind of this mysterious force rather than we got like this the fucking here comes the science explanation in Golden Wind versus Fancy. Well, actually, it came down from meteorite, and it's actually like bacteria that get into your bloodstream, fucking midichlorian bullshit all over again. But no, fucking Stan uses is drawn to each other inexplicably. It's just a weird fucking gravity of the universe thing.
Like I'm not saying it's just, it goes through genetics, because obviously it goes through the genetics by magic, but it's more so about like familial destiny and that kind of thing, and that obviously Poochie and Weather Report are tied because now Weather Report's hunting down the son of a bitch who hired the guy who got his
The private eye, yeah.
yeah,
And he's
and
on
he-
a rampage. He's turning everything into snails, and everything's getting mussed up. And Poochie says, "Okay, well, now I must live up to my family name, and because I'm the only one who can take down my brother." So he goes, "I'm a calling you out, Wes. I'm not your brother anymore. No brother of mine would do something like this." It's like, "Okay, draw a pilgrim." They fun stands. He fun. But he gets it in a little karate chop across the head, and he ejects his disc up and saying, "This is the best I can do for you." It's just like, if you haven't got your memories, haven't got a memory of this tragedy, you will be driven to destruction.
Because Weather Report has several times tried to kill himself, but destiny simply will not allow it.
But maybe there's a way. Maybe there's a way to make all this right. No fun. If only we hadn't met. If only these coincidences hadn't been all occurred all simultaneously. And if I had initiated it, if I hadn't run it, but maybe there's a way. Maybe there's a way to make it all right. Maybe that vampire dude has the clues to it.
I better go meet up with him and ask him.
Yeah.
And set off this whole chain of events.
So you can see why he's broken up by his sister dying and having to put down his brother. Of course he wants to fucking remake and end the universe. I mean, you can see where it's coming from, right? You know, this isn't like a wildly out of fucking proportion response to anything, is it?
It's as big a dramatic response as to the big drama that set up this whole thing. Yeah.
So then we go back to modern day times where they're heading towards...
Shit. We're going to be eaten by beetles. Shit.
Everyone's covered in beetles. The car's filled with beetles. We gotta go.
Before we get to that, though, we have weather forecast. Adesai wanted to know, why am I following you around still? You've gone bad. And he's like, the reason I want you with me is because once I finished off my brother, I need you to kill me.
I need someone to finish the job, and you're the closest thing I have to a friend, Anasui, and that's the saddest thing I've ever heard.
And also, he's probably got the best stand for killing somebody by just...
Oh, yeah, 100%. Like, if someone can take him out, the guy who can hit you from the inside. Yeah, absolutely.
Because his own weather report, the stand, has been saving his life all the time. It's no funny. He tried to shoot his head off, but the gunpowder got dry as the air was too moist, and
he put too much snail juice into the gunpowder so he couldn't kill himself. And then the tide washed him in when he tried to throw himself into the lake. And it's like, he's tried all this thing, but he controls the weather. The weather is going to save him, basically. So nothing he can do.
And then everyone's climbing into the car covered in beetles going, fuck it. We're just going to get the weather report as quickly as possible.
Before they eat us. I just like how this dedicated, 95% of the episode, just like, this is like a real mess, and we're just going to just lay it out as his events. Like, we're going to lay it out as again this for moral quandary, and I found you can see why, acting on these powerful emotions, each party involved did this awful thing as they did. It's just a shocking. Like stand users get drawn together, and sometimes it can be you found the comrades who can help you to save the day. Other times it's usually horrible tragedy and bloodshed and misery and horror. Is often the case.
Yeah, like I said, I like it that it goes towards its pulp and gothic origins that the series has deep inside it from the get-go.
Yeah.
It's Southern Gothic, which is it had to be in that location at that time. So if we're going to be in Florida, we may as well draw upon this tradition as well and work some of that in.
And it made me like
in the first place.
Even drawing on the thing that would be obviously a problem to a lot of places, but this specific version of it to America, like the inherent racism is like, you didn't count on this guy being like an uber fucking racist, and it's like, yeah, that's a thing in the area, and it's something you have to fucking watch out for, I guess. Some real fucked upness in this one, but I think very well implemented, very well just it's hard. It's probably Poochie, but it's hard to press who is at fault. But it's probably Poochie. It's
again, it was atmospheric when he draws it in. This one went by in a flash. It was just completely engrossed in it.
Yeah. I kind of I forgot the commercial break bit, and I was just like, oh, and then and then we catch up on where the lads are now, and I was like, oh, the episode's over. I was like, oh fuck, that was a quick one, yeah.
There was no opening credits to it as well.
That too,
It's rolled on through. Yeah.
Yes, that was that. And then we've got Lupin 0, episode 5, The Man Who Operates in Secret, not the main for some reason. I've typed in the show notes.
International Man of Mystery.
So the lads are at a drive-in movie. Do you recognise the film? I did. I recognised it, but I couldn't remember what film it was.
Same.
Oh, fucking yeah. Oh, fuck. Yeah, the Western.
And I knew it was a reference because they were like mocking them, and I was like, I'm pretty sure you guys are based off of this shit, but I can't face it.
No,
it's bugging me.
They showed the one guy moving backwards out of a door holding the gun. I was
Yes.
like, I know that shot. And
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
I can't.
It could be a shot they often do, but you know, which one did probably first and best?
And also, you could kind of date it from this show.
So
Yeah,
it's a 50s.
Yeah.
Must be a 50s movie. Yeah.
It was bugging me as well. Couldn't place it.
So then we get shenanigans going on at the US Army base where multiple people are disguised as multiple different people.
I think it was all fucking like Lupin 2, just all the way through. Like, I'm gonna be like, you know, the GI coming back on base and the sexy lady or someone.
I assume underneath he was wearing Lupin, right? And over that he's wearing the sexy lady disguise, and over that he's wearing GI disguise.
Well,
he's just tearing them off as he goes.
What should know about the disguise as the male GI coming back on base? Just switch it up, you know.
No, it's because
switch it up a little.
Yeah, it's because they're going through a checkpoint. It's a guy from the base and the woman he's with. They go and they speak to the guy on the checkpoint. They have a nice bit of chatter. They drive off. Then it's revealed that the guy at the checkpoint is also tied up, and that isn't the guy at the checkpoint. But then later, we like the very next scene, we see the lady who went through the checkpoint take off their disguise, and it's Lupin the Second. So I'm like, who was the guy at the checkpoint? Was it
I assume that was Lupin as well. It's all Lupin.
But you just like
because it can't be 3 because 3's not involved.
Coming back around and saying hello, it's me. Oh, it's you again. Oh, hello, it's me.
Yeah, I assume that's 1. It can't be 3 yet because 3 hasn't got involved in this plot at this point in the story.
Was that Lupin 0? The prototype Lupin.
Then it's Christmas. It's a Christmas episode. Lupin's
it's make it more dramatic because it's Christmas.
Yeah, Lupin's bought Yoko a present, a necklace, I believe. He's got like a very 50s jumper on with his own initial on it, and I was like, I was like, oh, this makes sense of the Letterman jacket he's wearing in Part 5's flashback as well.
I did appreciate that he knows like the guy who brings out the bins in the club as well. It's just like, yeah, he knows people, and that guy like only a character in this episode, but I was just like, oh, it feels like he knows people in the town. It feels like he's of this place.
Yeah, again, still going around in that jumper, and he gets annoyed being called a rich kid. It's like, yeah, but look at you.
You look like a rich kid, and as he was saying, I'm not a rich kid. At one point, Jigen is there calling him a rich kid while his maid is tending to his injuries. I'm like, that's pretty fucking privileged, man. I'm just saying.
Yeah, because he got knocked about by some like pretty hench dude who was trying to check in on Yoko because he heard about there's some dude which was roughing her up, and the phone saying, "Was it you?" Phone said, "What are you talking about, kid?" Wham! Get the fuck out of here.
He gets beaten up by what appears to be Yoko's mean boyfriend, Gaucho, but then it's revealed that he's not the one who hit her, and not even her boyfriend.
Because like she says to him, like when he chases Lupin off, kind of thing, is like, why did you lie to him and say that you're the one who beat me up? It's like, well, it's my fault. I told you to get close to that guy, and he's roughing you up. And she's like, oh, by the way, here's the secret plans. And he's like, oh, brilliant, the secret plans.
Well, what he gets is because he's like, it's like the fucking, I don't know, the lieutenant or the captain or whatever fucking of the Marines who we saw with in the earlier episode. And you know,
same guy.
We've got what we need off of you, motherfucker. If we're gonna beat the crap out of you, we have the plans. We're going to enact a revolution. We've got like the atomic cannon.
Yes, because before we get to that though, we got the Japanese government have sent somebody to consult with Lupin the First as about what's been stolen from the base.
I do appreciate he's in a bed full of dudes this time. Yeah, that's good.
his avarice knows no bounds.
No. So everything is his.
Everyone.
Yeah.
Gaucho takes whatever it is that 2 stole. We later learn it's the plans for an atomic cannon.
So I guess Lupin II isn't a thief like his father. No, I'm an international spy. That's different. It's I steal plans and then get paid for them, not jewelry. That's different.
Lupin goes back to Yoko's apartment and she's disappeared along with Gaucho. Jigen is then hired by a Yakuza family to catch Lupin II. And it turns out the government hired this Yakuza family. So it's essentially so cynical. Yep. It's so cynical. It's like,
great, man. Yeah. I mean, like, you're thinking, well, the government are in the right here. They're trying to prevent Tokyo from being exploded by a nuclear cannon. It's like, but they are hiring the Yakuza to take out fucking
and then
their
even
own
the Yakuza
citizenry.
are like, oh, we can't do it ourselves. Let's get a child to do it for us.
Let's get a child mercenary to help us out. He's the only one of us with a gun. I mean, we gotta get him in.
Lupin II and Shinobu are like, okay, we should probably go and fetch my son, and then we'll flee the country because shit's about to go down, and I'm the cause of it. And Jigen and Lupin have a back and forth, and along with Shinobu on the top of the roof, and then Lupin finally decides, I'm going to be a thief, not because my dad wants me to not be a thief, not because my granddad wants me to be a thief, but I'm going to be a thief for the thrills.
And you can see, like, it's really nicely contrasted between the scene with Jigen and Shinobu and Lupin, where she's tending to his wounds, and Jigen's like, dude, you have to make, like, so you want to be in straight and narrow. It's like, I'm not going to do what my dad told me, so you're going to be a thief like your granddad. It's like, I'm not going to do what my granddad wants. It's like, you need to pick something for yourself, right? You can't be good or evil. You need to, like, you can't pick the middle. You have to pick a side that, what do you want, is what Jigen's asking him.
To drive.
And it's the same conversation on the rooftop with Jigen and Shinobu with guns on each other. But it's kind of like, dude, now is the crunch time. Need to make that fucking choice.
Yeah.
And so Lupin's going to pull off his first heist. I'm going to steal your heart, Jigen. Oh, that was romantic. I love that. That was nice.
Beginning of a beautiful friendship and marriage.
Meanwhile, Gaucho kidnaps the guy who had been beating Yoko because they need him to tell them how to operate the atomic cannon. They find him half naked, half dressed as a Nazi, I believe.
Sure, why not?
He gets left up on the communications array to freeze his nuts off.
Yeah, I assume that was also to get access to that battleship, because then they can launch the nuclear cannon from the battleship, because the Tokyo government wanting to look for it on a US ship. Pretty good plan, yeah.
Yeah. Gaucho demands the Diet is disbanded, and then he receives a note, which he can't read in Japanese. So I'm like, is he actually in charge of this revolution, or is he a guy the revolutionaries have brought in?
They have imported Che Guevara in to do the revolution for them.
I got the feeling
he's good at it.
I get this feeling they're aiming for Ryukyu independence.
Yeah.
I feel is what they're.
That would probably be like right in terms of the time and everything. Yeah.
Yeah. I
guess, because that would be like, we were like, we got like the fucking absolute hammering. We were kind of like fucking at the breakwater for a lot of the fucking like the Allied onslaught there, and we still have fucking like dudes hanging out on islands there who don't know the war is over. We'll find out about that in coming decades, but I understand it'd be a bit incensed, that like, fucking took all those knocks and nothing to show for it. Yeah.
I also assume that they won't actually specifically say it in the series at all.
No, they'll allude to it.
But yes, as they were alluding
unnamed island nation.
Yeah, as they were alluding to the southern islands here, I was like, okay, yeah, that's probably what they're going for. Yes, and Lupin III has declared that he's going to steal the atomic cannon from them.
No, I think he said he's going to steal the songstress from them.
Oh, yes.
His interest is the ladies, obviously.
True, yes.
And I appreciate her kind of involvement in it. She's not innocent of this. And he's like, are you sure you're cool with this? Like, is it, like seeing Tokyo go up in flames? It's like, won't be the fucking first time. I've had nothing but bad memories of this place. And then she's like, except for those kids. Those kids are all right. I guess they're going to get blown up too. Oh, well.
Probably warned them.
Don't have time. No time.
They're pretty smart. They're pretty good at that. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting watching this the week I read. Today I read the 6th volume of Asadora, and it's like the motivations of most of the characters in that is for there not to be another nuke fired in Japan, and so therefore, rather than use any of the armed forces to fight the giant monster attacking Japan, they're going to get a 17-year-old girl to scare it off in an aeroplane, repeatedly.
I'm interested. I kind of seen like the 3 Lupins like arrayed here, and kind of what sort of like kind of, I suppose, pulp fiction is popular in each of the areas when they're at a prominent and the most peak. So obviously Lupin the First is like, well, he's Lupin the First, you know, at late 19th century, early 20th century, kind of, you know, the pulp adventure, like gentleman thief kind of thing. And
But
then,
him actually being consulted by the government as like a consulting detective type situation,
Yeah.
it's just like that makes sense for his time. And then
Yeah.
Lupin
And
the
then
Second being a super spy and shit. it's just
Lupin
like,
2 is being
makes
more
sense.
James Bond. He's so we're
Yeah.
getting fucking like kind of Cold War things now. And then Lupin 3 is just like, you know, this is like, you know, this more kind of drawing like, oh, it's like a bank job. You gotta get like a crew together. It's going to be a heist. It's going to be a plan. You know, that kind of way. Not trying to save the world, just trying to like get the valuable thing. But
Yeah,
trying to, like,
yeah.
But through that, then working in these more fantastical bits. They're drawing on his like his ancestry, his exploits and adventures to make it more.
And then Lupin the Third is
crazy.
obviously more an adventurer kind of thing, without the political leanings of the first 2 decades of that kind of thing, or first 2 eras of that kind of thing.
So do we need a sequel which is Zenigata Zero as a boy detective in the 1930s?
I mean, that would be pretty rad. But yeah, I think I know what you're saying about that kind of genre that this kind of fits in a little, Brian. I think one of it is like it's the kind of people trying to avoid a war, people trying to avoid a further conflict and not be drawn into one that was quite fucking recent, and you could easily see them falling back into, and then relying on the next generation, the youth, kids and stuff, to you do better than us. You fix this problem, because we are just going to fall back into it again.
This is much more cynical than Asadora is.
Oh, I mean, like everyone's at fault here except for the master thief who's just learning he wants to be a master thief.
Yes, adults are terrible is the general message of this show.
Yeah.
As I'm sure I'm sure Yoko will also prove to be a terrible adult, just like everybody else has been.
Mm-mm.
Will happen to you one day.
Yes, unless you become a Lupin the Third.
And just be a child forever.
Yeah.
Then we got to be in Roboco, episode 6, Nyonta at Roboco, in which Roboco finds a lion and brings it home.
Lost cat. It is.
And the lion is terrified of this robot maid.
Well, mostly because they keep talking about how she respects all life, including the microwave she keeps bringing home. But she keeps like zapping bugs as soon as she sees them. It's like, am I a bug? Am I going to be treated as such?
It's just a little skittish, you know, fun. He's calm down. He's chewing on her arm. He runs away. Oh no!
And he runs straight into a bunch of tough cats who was like, "Get him, boys!" They have him surrounded. Roboco shows up, is then mauled by the cats, but does not react one bit because she thinks that they love her. Do you think that's a sign of affection?
Yes, because Nyonta has been trying to bite her, or has been biting her throughout the entire episode, and she's been just saying this as a sign of affection. And Nyonta's now happy with Roboco because she saved him, and then it finishes with first Bonta returns to the story, declaring that Gachigurura and Matsuo turned his recorder into a solid. Oh, you're covered in cats.
I appreciate there's other comedy shenanigans happening off panel whenever we're looking at Roboco. There's other bullshit happening elsewhere. Don't worry about it.
She comes in with that, and he's got tears in his eyes, like he's sad about. I got this recorder, so I was like, shit, now I can't play it. But a gold recorder could buy many recorders. Explain how.
Anyway, if you're a big fan of drawings of cats' testicles, this is the episode of me and Roboco for you.
Very prominent. You get those there, and well, no, the cat will be around the house when they remember to put them in it as well.
Yeah,
Yes.
he's going to. Weirdly enough, Nyonta is going to be like the straight man of a lot of jokes somehow.
Yeah.
I wonder what way they'll do it when he has to be like, you know, super serious and say, "Don't do that," and it becomes a much more like
when he has to
intimidating line. We'll just have like a live action photo just put in there.
Oh, that would be nice. Yeah.
Yes, I do hope we get as far as to the episode where he has to talk human language, because it's just so ridiculous. Yeah, that's me and Roboco for you. Then we're on to the actual weekly things. It's Welcome to Demon School, Iruma-kun, Season 3, Episode 15. The True Worth of the Archer. Oh, I forgot to add into the list of things Bungo Stray Dogs. I did watch it.
Oh, I didn't. I only watched half of Vampire Dies in no time. I'm barely time enough this week.
Oh, I thought the Bungo Stray Dogs was back on the good shit like for the following week.
Oh, it could
Okay.
well be. Yes, I don't know. Let me just see. Let me just.
Maybe
Did you watch the light novel shit?
We've just kind of struck it off so many times now. But
yeah, I forgot as well.
Yeah,
we'll get it next time. We'll get it next time.
Episode 4 is the first one. Maybe it is actually for this coming week. I don't know. I just suddenly came to my mind that I had watched that as well. Well, did it was called Iruma-kun, though. The True Worth of the Archer. So Oribus turns in the vase of endings to get its immediate points value.
Yep. All above board
all
here.
above board. He's definitely turned it into the correct people.
Yep, the correct one. No one can fake these things. Nope. Not
I did
anybody.
like the way that was presented, and you're just kind of like, because we've literally seen the two lads who are currently disqualified do that exact scam.
Yeah.
So,
now I'm thinking, is there a disqualification? Did the ad actually disqualified, or was that a ruse? Is that a ruse within a ruse? A wheel
the
within
lion
a
guy
wheel?
wasn't disqualified. He's still in the game.
He's
I
still
don't
in the game,
like.
yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of a weird situation, but I did like the way that our like the reveal of the tragic backstory of our guy who always comes in second. His family is cursed to always be second place, and it's not that he's trying. He's really fucking trying to be first.
Yes, but Alec.
I thought they were in like the weird faith that worships the number two. I have two of everything. It's like, no, it's just like I keep trying my hardest, but I can't quite crack it. I've got the fucking just guy. He's getting top marks in all the physical exams, and you got this little bastard here, who's the most popular fucking kid in school. And everybody, I hate him.
Well, no, he doesn't
it's funny,
though.
Like you're cursed to come in second.
He
It's like
doesn't
that's on the
hate them,
podium.
'cause
Silver's good.
Because we learned that he doesn't hate them. He's being manipulated by Ocho.
That's the other thing as well. That
Ocho.
Because he's thinking, I'm doing this fair and square. I'm gonna win by my own merit. And then he's like, wait a minute, I used my powers against them and fucking like got them disqualified and shit. Am I not doing this fair and square? And then it's Osho or the weird black tooth smiley man is kind of like, no, you're totally doing it fair and square. They deserve it. And he's like, yes, absolutely. I have been hypnotized. So it's nice to see there's something else going on with him.
Satan's got a point. Listen to him.
Before we get to that, though, the castle's being defended quite well, but then Agari's troops start to fall victim to sexiness.
It's like, they took us all. It's like, oh my god, what happened? Too sexy.
Yes.
She's unzipping. Just we're seeing the neck. The neck is all she needs. It's just to try that one thing.
Yeah, that was a good reuse of cheap animation. That was very funny.
Yes, we learned that her power works the same as your woman out of Birdie Wing. Is that she unzips
how
her,
much of her navel is showing? Yeah.
How much of her cleavage is showing? Releases pheromones that drive men wild, and then she does ponder what would happen. She was warned not to use it too much because she'd lose control, and then also the men who she was influencing. But she does give it a moment's thought of like, I wonder what would happen if I did lose control.
That
would be tempting. They're all here in a cage at the Animal Kingdom. Ooh, I could do it though. Oh, I've been interrupted.
Interrupted by Iruma, Lead, and Nafalo. Mainly Lead because he needs to get some answers to whether it was a hallucination or not.
He needs to get one answer. It's like it's not where's the pot. It's like, hey, what do you think of me? Like, how do you feel about me?
I love you.
I love you. I already mentioned this before. Yeah. And he's like, you fucking that's all I fucking
take that, everybody else. I do it.
Like, the pot. We forgot about the pot. Yeah.
Nafula's trying to mime to them who the culprit is. And they do a very poor job.
The only one who can interpret is the guy who can interpret absolutely anything.
It's the camo uniform saying, yeah, it's like a dude, the ponytail, like he's got hooves. Oh, I know that dude. Yeah, it's like when I've seen him sneaking around. And then dude always comes in second.
That's when the narrator explains the rumored second faith, and it basically tells you that Arobus does follow the second faith, and then it's like, except he doesn't. Just people think he follows the second faith. He just tries. Like
his family are of the second faith, but he's trying to come first. He wants to do well. He wants to do the best, but it's just that fucking misfit class. They always come. Just one of them comes just ahead of him in this subject. Another one comes ahead of him in this subject. Ruma's like the fucking star pupil of the school.
Yeah.
Fucking guys.
And they're like, it's like in the misfit class. Oh no, Clara went out alone. We've got to go save Clara.
Yeah. And this is where everyone really fucking starts cooking. She's obviously presented but like an illusion of Ruma and saying, hey, Clara, give me a thing. The one thing he would promise he would never do. Those other bullies who always want her for her pockets.
I appreciate that it showed the thing. It waited a little bit to show the flashback to how she started, where everyone was just like, "Hey, give me the thing," because you can make infinite amount of everything. But I like as soon as he said that, I was like, "Oh fuck!" Like, because it's the way he says it. It's very like, "Give me it," not like "please" or not "thank you" or just like, "No, you can make infinite things, and you're only useful to me because you can make infinite things. Why would anyone else hang around you? You're very fucking annoying."
Yeah.
All the things that she feels about herself or has been told about herself.
It's all the more cutting because she was like Clara, the beloved mascot of the entire story. Now he's getting this absolute fucking horror fucking layered on her. But then the sun's coming up, and then up in the hill it's fucking Clara. It's just fucking boof. It's just on top of a wolf. He's got a fucking giant arrow, just blows the whole thing away, and it's just. I don't know, it's the way she kind of comes up in tears, and you just there looking like a fucking absolute champ with his hair blowing in the wind. Giant bold on top of a tiger. Is great.
I appreciate that. It kind of puts us in. It's like, oh no, Clara's crying, and we're the audience like, oh, that's really bad. But then Iruma comes in, immediately solves the problem. It's like, let's explain how Iruma came to solve the problem. Whereas any other show would be like, no, we'll build up to him solving the problem. It's like, no, show him solving it, and then explain to us how he did it. Because I don't want dramatic stakes. I just want silly comedy and sometimes emotional investment. Yeah. That's it.
Especially you couldn't walk, but we're going to lend you a few like magical beasts you can kind of ride around on, and go up there and get a good view of it. Fun leaves trying to get fun kind of pinpoint where she is. Everyone's it's just over there. Everyone's saying she's in that clearing. Oh my God, she's getting menaced by a monster. Oh
we'll
God,
never make it in time.
God hit the shot. God hit the shot. Oh, Wappa hit her. What everyone doing? Then she's in there Bachika saying, "Don't think." Squeeze it, don't yank it, just fucking it all out.
It's the thing of there's a moment of hesitation, but it's like you don't have time to hesitate, and it's like so he takes his last fucking arrow, shoots it's like some kind of magical plant monster that's actually menacing her rather than this illusion of Iruma that he takes out, heads down to meet her, and wouldn't you know it, our horse boy's down there going like, fucking, you got out of my fucking nightmare. Oh, I'm going to give you such fucking trauma with my magic. You're not even going to be done by the end of the fucking thing. You're going to have this trauma for the rest of your fucking life.
Whammo!
And him coming in out of nowhere, and I guess next episode we're going to see, how did he come in out of nowhere? That kind of shit. Where it's like, don't touch my friends. And then the narrator's like, wow, I guess he's come in to save them. Wait, didn't he attack another? Does that mean he's disqualified?
Yeah.
Like, says the narrator. It's very funny. Good shit.
It's just like this is like a it's like a kind of mostly like a silly kind of comedy cartoon series, but they get these fun little bits, and it's even more so fun. Iruma, he's just like it's this little kind of pipsqueak, really nice, very polite. It's just kind of these like bits. It's like a little bit of that, like you see he's like quote unquote evil side, which is a little bit more kind of edgy. But yes, it's like his guts within him, and it's kind of it comes out this way. And he's just like, yeah, he looks fucking totally cool up there on that cliff, right around a giant wolf with a bow. No wonder everyone loves him. He's class.
And you get a lot of the characters have a lot more depth to them. Like you get a lot of stuff with Az, where it's like, oh, he doesn't like Clara. He's competing with her for Aruma's friendship or romantic friendship, whichever. But in this thing, he's just like, get back the fuck up, like kind of thing. It's just like, no, he does care about them. He will possibly disqualify himself by the next episode to help them out.
And you get the
already has.
It's pretty clear he's disqualified. There's no way around it.
He shot him with fire. What else could that be? This isn't the magical beast hit him, officer. It's technically fine.
Yes, but I like the fact it's clear from this episode as well that Oribus is not evil himself. It's just his buddy.
Yes. And
also the fact that, which is often the case with these characters, he's a guy who's got a bloodline power which can only be done to harm other people. There's no useful application of that power, which is why he was saying he was going to try and win without using his power.
Yeah, he wanted to win fair and square by his own merit, but it's like, no, you're winning by everyone else's deficit, so that's not your own merit.
Always comes in second, not a good quality for a racehorse or a jockey.
And then, of course, now the question is, I'm also with this Ocho guy, because we've seen guys like this before, and they tend to be part of the Baal's plans of turning
cadre of fanatics
again. Yeah.
And again, he's taken those things of I really want to come first in school, and he's warping that into something actually bad. It's like I'm going to fuck up that class. That kind of
Yeah,
thing.
it is like, the expression of less like, oh, like you can have like, maybe kind of selfish or negative aspects of it, but it's how you kind of
But if
direct it
they're
outwards.
twisted
But
to
it's
something else, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
and when you're just kind of when you really kind of like double down on it, that's when you have like actual devils. They're the real ones to do it. Whereas like ambition is not necessarily a bad quality to have. It's just you shouldn't be stepping on people like over their bodies to get on your way to get to the top. Which is I think what the man is whispering into his ear. It's worth it. Come on, you want to be number one, don't you? I'll be cool, not a nerd.
But at the same time, the fact that he can't, it's that he sat when he sat down and remembering that, oh, hang on a second, I did use those powers, and then the spell has to be back onto him again. So
cool, yeah, man, to re-hypnotize him a little.
Very good episode. I know I've seen people who don't like it, seems to complain that this arc's going too long. I think this is a pretty well paced arc because it's got all the things right that the stuff in the first series had got wrong.
Well, next episode is Harvest Festival ends.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's it.
Yeah, we're good.
Yeah, exactly.
That feels good. Like it feels like we're hitting like the apex of it and everything. And also, it keeps cutting between different characters in a way that's like, what are they doing? And I'm just like, I'm satisfied with finding that out.
It's giving everybody something to do, which was the problem with the first series. That it
yes. And it dragged for that in a lot of places. Yeah.
Then we got Fire Hunter, episode 2, The Three Brides. My notes simply reads, well, this is definitely the people who made Vladlov.
Yeah.
The guys from In the Sun.
As we get lots of static shots. Lots of shots which suddenly turn into art
paintings
resembling the artist of the book. We get lots of those multiple panels within a single screen that they did a lot in Vladlov.
Yeah.
And generally
every trick in the book is deployed here.
Yes, to avoid.
The giant word coming up while they're explaining the lore. When they're introducing a new term. Yeah.
We have already kind of simply rendered like, here's like a big mansion place. We're going to zoom into that up the driveway and around and we're going to zoom back out there while our discussion is inside the house. And dude in the house, a rich kind of like large gentleman who owns a big house, he pour some tea and he has like, a cup of tea, but you don't see it go. Is he going to drink out of it? Is he going to drink out of it? Is this going to smell it? And one more thing. And then this goes down, then out of shot. Then if we even go to this up, you can see this kind of slide in that there.
The problem
I enjoyed the episode, but there's every cheap animation. I'm hoping because they're sparing it because they want to do something fancy soon. But
I'm not sure now. Like
probably not.
I'm trying to think, because there's been a lot of like kind of wave of things that have been struck because their outsourcing studios have gotten like ravaged by COVID. So was this?
Oh, this was ravaged by COVID last year. This was supposed to be out April last year, I believe.
We're probably seeing the effects of last year. Yeah.
I guess they just needed to press on and get it done, and they couldn't come back and get this one. They just need to get this thing out the door already.
Yeah. Oh, if we watch next week's episode, I expect that to be worse because that has like 8 animation directors on it.
Ooh, like that can be okay, but I'm guessing in this case it ain't gonna be.
Anyway, the story itself, right? We're introduced to other people who are on the truck. There's these 3 girls who are being sold.
It's not just
brides.
Goods that they transport; it's people who they've decided their town was so cursed. We need to sell these people as brides.
Yes.
Not great.
One's trying to get herself killed before they get to the husbands. There's
the other 2 are annoyed about being brides. The woman is just like, I do the work of 5 men. Why the fuck did they sell me off? And the other woman's kind of like upset about it. But the third younger woman, she's like, I do not want to be fucking sold off into marriage. I'm gonna try and get myself killed beforehand.
Yes. I'm going to starve myself to death by giving the dog my food, and then later on I will run off the train, which will then cause our heroine to follow me, and we both end up getting chucked off the train at the end of the episode. Also,
because they do say one rule: stay on the fucking train. The forest is filled with magical beasts. You endanger the train by doing that, and you literally both fucking got off the train. So
and meanwhile, back in the city, it becomes clear in flashback exactly how these 2 people are connected, because this kid, this teenager, is going to be the person who she's got to return the dog to, because
Yep.
This is the
'Cause-
family of that dead fire hunter.
Because the very large-headed man that we mostly see in stills is like, hey, your family were really good to me. Your dad is a hunter and he's away. It's terrible that your man died while he was away. I'd like you and your sister to come live with me, and that way we can take care of her because I know she's sick. And it's like I don't know. His head is so large, and the fact that he's only presented in stills, I cannot discern if he has good intent or not.
I think he's got good intentions.
He seems
Probably.
pretty nice, yeah.
Yes.
Because he was saying, "Oh, I don't think of it as charity, because I think there's a spot for you in the company. I think you've got a good brain in there. You could figure out a whole new way to apply like this energy source. Because we have like the one kind which you get out of the beast, just harvest that and you can't birth it. But then there's like the sky fire. That's hard to get. That comes from a sky beast, and you gotta be a special kind of hunter to get that.
Only
like,
your dad is the kind of hunter who could take those kind of, or hunters of the quality of your dad are the only guys who can take down those guys, which is like, it's a pity he's dead in the woods from a bear, but okay.
So that strikes me as when you get kind of fire heat based things of like the ones in the forest, if I get kind of electric lightning based things of this one, there's all these fucking damn Pokemon.
He says it burns like a lot more efficiently and everything, so you could come up with a new way of harnessing that as a fuel source, or I think he says it explodes basically. So we're talking about internal combustion engines and that kind of shit. Yeah,
hydrogen.
Yeah, and
Possibly.
also, I'm pretty sure the government's about to collapse, and my factory can't handle the Skyfire. So I need you to figure out. I'm pretty sure you can figure out a new way of handling the Skyfire, and then our factory can actually process Skyfire, and we should be sorted for any future upheavals involving the collapse.
Which I think there's going to happen any day now because the government's not looking great. Yeah.
And then we come back to the train with the girls off the train, the other hunter and his dog, and our dog.
And a bunch of things happen, which you're kind of able to pick out.
Yes, and then some poorly animated action occurs.
I mean, I like the thing of the flying wolf and then a flying mastiff. I was just like, I was enjoying it, but I was just like, I think he wanted that to look a lot more dramatic.
It's just like going, yeah. They got the kind of weird.
Dog,
it's like a monkey thing. And then the dudes come out to try and they're going to attend to the wounded and get the juice off it, and they're kind of like that as they come down and do it. It's weird, like I'm very interested in reading the books. Very
it's
interested
a pity
in
because like I was noticing in this episode, because we spent a lot of it on the train, that there's like a lot of the backgrounds are done very well. I like the beds they could pull down in the passenger car, that kind of thing. I didn't notice it the last time. They have those drills like the Shagohod or that old kind of fucking tank that instead of tracks that they run on, they actually had a spare drill on top of one of the things in case one of the wheels break. And I was like, that's nice. It feels like a very well designed world and stuff. Like it's just the simplicity of which the train was designed. I was like, I kind of get how bits connect in this.
Yeah,
but then the animation itself is quite lazy, but whereas the design is quite good.
Well, even outside that forest with the copy paste job,
lazy's being too mean. It's lazy out of necessity. We do not have the animators and
what it reminded me of was when I was at university and being told it was more important to hand in your coursework than to have a perfect piece of coursework.
It's more important for it to be finished than for it to be done well. Yeah. I get exactly the fucking thing. Like a lot of fucking shit went wrong for a lot of people. So yeah, it's understandable.
I'm not sure I'll watch next week's episode though. I may just watch Detective Conan instead of this.
I'll probably watch it. I did enjoy it enough that like it'll keep me in for longer. But I get you.
A lot of these shortcuts I was fine with in Vladlov because Vladlov had rapid fire comedic monologues to cover the seams.
It didn't like it had its own ways of kind of fun laying out text on the screen, and it could well, it wouldn't be the most engaging you'd ever see, but it's just like literally we're just going to fade up this proper noun describing the thing, we're going to fade that back out again, but even more, and did that for minutes on end, and then phone saying better switch up a button, better zoom out of the fucking the rendered background of the mansion again and come all the way back out to the road. It's a lot.
Shots which look low res as well. Like they zoomed in.
It's like if JoJo went by in a flash, and that was just like this kind of backstory thing fitting in things, and this is just like again fitting in this world, but it was just so languid. Yes. It felt twice as long, and did they fucking exact same length?
So I didn't think it was that much of a problem for me. But I think the only good scene is the scene where they're having their dinner in the truck, and the toughest girl goes off and is the only one who's actually made the dog do something so far.
Because she gave out to the dog. You need to teach dogs proper etiquette. Like, while I'm eating, you're not fucking eating. You can have your dinner after fucking me. That kind of. It's just like dogs need discipline.
That was good and fun. Well, although it was amusing to see, like, that root, or that was get less and less and less detail as every time they went back to it.
Then we got a couple of things I did not watch, such as TRIGUN Stampede Episode 3, Bright Light Shine Through the Darkness.
Yeah, that's just happening here.
Oh man, this is
Make a
depressing and sad on purpose and shit. You know, it's just like, this is meant to be like, this is rough in the good way. It's going for that.
Yeah,
everything that can go wrong does go wrong.
We're getting bombs on people, like poor fucking Gopsef, or is it poor, like, my only son, he's gotten blown to smithereens. Shigeru Chiba, Mr. Nebraska, he's fucking distraught and yelling as only Shigeru Chiba can. Everyone's kind of messed up. This is the work of this dude, E.G. the Mine. He's got his new moniker of he's a known outlaw. He put bombs on people and makes people into bombs. And he's got his new thing. We kind of gets this like two halves of a spiked ball. He's kind of, powers have been here, roll around, smash.
Yeah,
cut
he's
stuff
got
up.
He's got a great setup. Used to be called EG or Easy Bomber, but now he wants to be called Easy Mine, and I was just like, that's a worse name, dude. Like,
E.G. the Mine, because he's in the posse now, and he's in Knives' posse, the gung ho guns. You gotta be something to something. That's the naming method we're using here.
But the Bomber would be better, I think. Than anyway. But that's just me. But he has a cool setup where he has like a roll cage shaped like a skull. Spiky skull, and then like two giant wheels that kind of clamp in on him like he's a fucking Jason the Wheel Warriors kind of dude. And
it's like more like American Gladiators.
Yeah. A hamster fucking
big ball
thing kind of thing. But he's going like, I've come here to steal the treasure, and like, they're obviously having to evacuate, but every now and again someone's bombs are going like beep 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 beep, and it's like that person's like, run, save yourself. Everyone's self-sacrificing. So they're like, how do we fucking get this guy? And Vash is obviously chasing this guy in. He's stealing the plant. Everyone's stealing this. They've had the worst day in this town. This has been an awful day for them.
Yeah.
But so him robbing that, and Vash is like, I will shoot you. And your man's kind of like, oh fuck, he's actually fucking means it here. So the plan they come up with is, if we all grab him as we're about to explode, he'll have to tell us how to turn off the bombs, otherwise he'll explode. And he's like, oh, fucking the button on my butt. And they're like, oh, brilliant. Okay. Press the button. Phew, the town has been saved once again.
From this threat. However, now
and everyone can hear, it's like music starts playing, but it's not background music. This is like being played on the piano in the bar. And Bash is like, everyone run the fuck away. This is super bad. Like, everyone get the fuck out of town. I'm going to take care of this. Just
here comes Mongo. With Mongo, we mean Knives.
Yeah. So it's Vash's brother. Vash is like, hey, I'm here to take back what's mine. I own all the plants and everything should die. That's my evil plan. I own them. So also they're yours, Vash. So you should embrace your destiny. That kind of thing. Also, he has infinity knives. So
millions knives. That's it. He's got a million knives. He's got a million of them. The townsmen make a brave stand with their guns trying to fight him off, and he eviscerates all but one of them, the one who was named.
Yeah, I feel like it's still rompy up when the mine kind of comes in, and that's still like we're having a Trigun fun time for the most part. It's like, well, he can't blow us up if we grab him. But as soon as this happens, like, it's like you see what's the old guy's name? The old scientist. No. The scientist dude.
Oh, Mr. Nebraska.
Like he's like shooting one of his. He actually gets a rocket launch off, but infinity knives will block a rocket, I guess. He hits him, and it's just like he gets his arm like chopped off, and it's like, oh, we're not having a fun time anymore. It's like, no. People are dying. People are getting turned into bloody meat. Like and broken bit is his. He basically like turns the town into a blender, but like the blender's going down over the entire town.
I was thinking more like the birdcage, like the Doflamingo does.
Yeah. I guess it would resemble that more because it's kind of like enveloping it. Yeah.
And it's like fun. This like it was like a fucking like a ham slicer who just gets one.
Yeah.
Little chunks of it to taken out. So this place is fucking gone. It's been chopped to bits. It has no like energy source or is things that they can make like running water and power for them. And who brought us here? Who brought us down the heads? It was fucking him after you, Vash. So we don't want the bounty anymore. We don't care.
That was your brother, and he wouldn't have come here had you not come here. He would have. He wants to steal the plants, but they don't know that, so they're just like, get the fuck out. Never come back to town. I mean, there's not really anything of a town left, but never come back here, basically.
Yeah. And this kind of things like, I think Robert De Niro had like put this together, but now Rookie Merrill is just thinking that's why he is the way he is, because he's the human
typhoon.
Anywhere he goes, it isn't him doing it, it's just fucking things around him happen, and that's why he has just fucking these weird principles about these things, and why he looks like, even when he's smiling, he looks sad in his eyes.
I did appreciate, like, when we see the town recovering, like, there's a lot of people probably dead and everything, but we do have Nebraska there with his arm patched up, and we do have the big lad also there patched up. It's like, don't worry, the comedy character survived. Don't worry,
just fix everything. It's all right.
The pregnant woman survived, but her son is missing an arm now. Don't worry, he's okay. It's like, they're alive, but they're not okay. Basically, is the thing. Yeah.
Well, for like, Nebraska Junior and Senior, like, he had like the chrome nose. They had cyborg bits, so the guy was dead for was like, it's just absolute fun decimation, not much fucking like liberty in it at all. And this one we just kind of hit the road because I got the fun, keep on moving. Whereas.
Like, he's like, where are you going, Bash? How can you leave with a smile? It's like, I don't deserve to cry. Where are you going? It's like, east. And he's just following the tracks of the van that we didn't say, actually, Millions Knives' gang showed up to help him steal the things.
So more of them did, yeah. I think I recognized them a bit from the manga here. Because this event like this did sort of happen, and it was sort of like you had like two big volumes of TRIGUN, and then it became TRIGUN Maximum, which was where most of the rest of the story. So this felt like, it was getting all that kind of like prologue in. Felt was fun. You don't even get to see Knight until at the end of that like manga, but he gets like revived or reborn like out of the plants, and he's back now, and he means business. He's always his posse to go and hold guns. So the big lad, he's great at 9 knives. He's a big lad with a secret. I think the other dude is what's his called? Leader of the Puppet Master. He makes puppets. What do you know? We'll see. They've all got gimmick, like E.G. the Mind. They got like his own little gadgets and all little kind of threat, usually involving a gun concealing something you wouldn't expect a gun to be concealed in. That's like I want to see a good bit of that now as well. That's another thing that Nitro has been great for the designing. It's very mean, it's very moody, it's very red because it's getting sunset now, so it's very lurid. And
I thought you meant from the people getting blended.
And that too, it all works together, like that. But it felt like this is really fun bringing it down the mood. And I think the 3 years in the kind of this extended prologue where we're setting the stakes here, and we're just showing off how nasty he is. Show off how nasty the villain is by showing how many people he kills without remorse. It can call it a bit of like a hackneyed thing, but I'm not sure many people actually would watch Trigun the anime had read like much further into Trigun like the manga.
Which goes further, yeah. Sure.
This was like so out of character for it. I know you can be kind of mean for and say, yeah, but there's also a bit in fucking Trigun Maximum in the comic where there's a guy who can kind of mind control people, and he just like controls this like gang of dudes who are after them and makes them all pack themselves into the back of a van, even though there's only room for like 10 of them in there. He puts all 50 of them in there, as much as it can go. So he just packs 50 people into a space that can't take it. There's loads of nasty fun shit in there, loads of it.
No, it shouldn't wallow in it. I just don't think they're supposed to put nasty, like, ugly things in Westerns. I feel like Westerns are all about fun and never about the ugliness of humanity, right? I don't know.
Yeah.
It's a weird complaint.
Let's call this kind of table setting now. It might kind of taken a bit long, but now we have, I've seen that Wolfwood comes on in. Now some of us can kind of play off, maybe we can just okay, now we fucking know what's out there, what needs to be done, how we gotta stop the fucker. But how do you do it? How do you do it without killing him? How do you do it with the least loss of life possible, even though he's going to send wave after wave of dudes after you who have one aim only to kind of to fucking take out your life and probably endanger many people in doing so. How do you fucking navigate this? suppose it can kind of take that long, kind of 3 in okay, now it's set up, now it's kind of moving. If you're impatient, you can understand why jump up. And I can understand as well if you're impatient and waiting for kind of things to kind of happen, and then too much happens like this, and it's really gross and really eerie.
It might be
miserable.
too fast where like this the first adaptation of it, because it's already been adapted. I feel like they can probably go like, yeah, it's like wacky Wild West shit, and it's like, and now we want to get to the serious stuff. Like this is, like you say, they want to get to this part of the story.
Yeah, I suppose kind of flipping it around, as most people have identified points, and they're giving away so much early on, but like, yeah, but you
statute of limitations, spoilers, you can spoil the shit now. Yeah,
and again, if you can just figure this out from the environment, If I had one other thing to kind of say about it, that as much as kind of people are always after most plants, it's just kind of like a big glowing thing in a tube. I would maybe it's down the line when it kind of sprout or something, we might see it again. I saw like more how they're remembered in the comic where it's just like a weird like angel with too many kind of wings, kind of like suspended in like in the tube. It's obviously an alive thing, but maybe like you haven't seen a version of them that's kind of like developed a bit up into that.
But at the same
why.
time, a lot of the character designs in this new one are less interesting than the original character designs.
There is something
in the
appealing
comic.
more about the kind of
It's
80s,
smooth,
90s
like
kind of look. Yeah,
the guy would be kind of smooth and kind of like even like like fashion. He obviously had that coat for a long time, and he's been in a lot of gunfights. When you see him turn up now, he's got the coat, but it's like the hem of it is just like full of bullet holes and spread out the shit
from having those bits being shot from him running away. Yeah.
So it's a bit of that kind of like that lived-in like thing, but I guess a bit lost because it's been very smoothed out, and we see a lot of deserts and sand dunes, so that's obviously very beneficial when trying to remember the background. But I think they do enough with it. But let's get the show on the road. Let's keep things kind of moving. Let's get some more things and get some kind of cool gunfights in it.
Yeah, but I mean, from the outside looking in, I feel like it's a show designed for people who haven't had any Trigun in their life before. Because I think if you were a big Trigun fan of the comic, I don't see why you'd want these character designs compared to what you get in the comic.
Yeah, that's fair. I just think they're trying to do something different.
Yes, they are, but I that's why I say I don't think it's for people who already have Trigun in their life. Because I don't...
Yeah.
Everything compared to what I've seen in the comic looks inferior in terms of design choices.
It's what you're able to fucking like company with it. I mean, I think Nitro always said, I think he's had his best luck with having his work adapted with Blood Blockade Battlefront.
Yes,
I think that's been a fun one. Like Trigun was like, it was fine, but it did sag. I mean, I watched I didn't like get to the end of that as well, or didn't complete it altogether. But
even the first anime is jumping all over the place in the same way this one is.
This one is,
but there wasn't as
and
much
then
stuff to jump.
Then Gungrave was just like, well, that was based off a video game, but it's like it's still it kept some of like his particular like eye for design.
But at the same time, it's like
it was still not quite. It's not quite there.
Here's the greatest character design in the video game. You get it from one episode.
It really wanted to do all the setup to get to that design. It's like, but we know it's really cool.
The Blood Blockade Battlefront also has the advantage of the comics being episodic.
Which works for an episode. Yeah.
There's someone who has a lot of Trigun in his life. I'm interested to see what to do because I have a soft spot for the studio. I want to see what way they kind of turn it around. Now again, I just want let's just come up all this now. We know what the stakes are. Let's not be too miserable about it. Let's get a show on the road. Let's see what you do with it.
Then you've got Inspector episode 15, Yuki-Onna's Alibi.
Did you watch it this time, Lil? Or?
I really tried to, but I decided to go. I tried to go paint my house today instead. So that's
all right. I'll try and cover it. I've forgotten your main one's name, but unfortunately, the Yuki-Onna is called Motogo. Yuki-Onna is just called Yuki-Onna in this, so that saves me a lot of fucking trouble. I can remember the monster name. So she's called in the inspector of the title to give them a fucking hand because basically we check in with the prior scene that I was talking about with the cops kind of coming in and talking to him. It's like, hey, so we know that your wife tried to kill you. And he's like, fuck, how the fuck do you know that? I didn't tell anyone about that. And he goes like, yeah, here's how it went. So my wife put some sleeping medication into my energy drink when I was going off to work one morning. and she was hoping I'd die on the freeway, but I had to stop by the office and pick up some papers, and I collapsed onto the fucking couch there. And I was just like, well, that's fucked up. And he's like, hey, did you try to kill me? And she's like, yeah. And why did you try to kill me? He's like, because I'm cheating on you. It's like, okay, I tell you what, I'll tell nobody. We're gonna have a divorce. I'm gonna split my fortune with you, and my company's gonna fall out from underneath me anyway. The police are like, yeah, see, that's kind of fucked up. Like that does seem like it was trying to make you look like you were looking like no hard feelings. Here's half my fortune, and then you end up killing her years later. Did you know that your friend died a few years ago? That the friend that pushed you off the mountain. He's like, yeah, I knew about that. And it's like you weren't implicated for that or anything because you were away from the thing, and he died in a traffic accident. But that's kind of fucking weird, isn't it? That all your fucking enemies are dying, isn't it? That's fucked up. It's like, but how did you find out about it? And he's like, oh, your wife left a letter in her house saying if I die under any mysterious circumstances, it was my husband that killed me. My ex-husband. And also she wrote like the first part of your name without the last syllable on her hand, and she had her hand closed in a fist, and she must have threw away the pen. We didn't find the pen. Maybe the killer wrote it in her hand, but I don't fucking know. But to write down who killed me, basically. And we found that, and it seems to implicate you. And it's like, where were you on the night of the 12th of fucking thing? And he's like, well, I have an alibi for that, but I can't really use it, which made him look more suspicious to the police. And when he gets back from questioning later, like the Yuki-Onna who was waiting for him kind of says, it's like, why didn't you fucking tell them? Like what was your alibi? It's like, that was the night I was here making fucking food for you that one dinner. And she's like, oh, fucking, you got an alibi then? He's like, yeah, but a ghost can't go down and tell the police. And she's like, don't worry, I'll call the goddess. She'll fucking know what to do. So we cut to that, and she meets them mysteriously in the woods. The Yuki-Onna flies them up to the mountains, and she's really annoyed there. And it's very funny because like she has this whole scene where they walk up, and a bunch of ghosts are lighting torches, like lighting the path and revealing her sitting on a rock presented as a goddess, and she's eating out of a bento box like that she got in the supermarket. And she's really mad because her boyfriend refused to come because he's doing late night road work. So he's got student fucking debt and everything. Yeah. So he has to pay it off as he's going through college.
You got me out of bed with my smoking hot boyfriend for this?
I'm fucking eating cold supermarket tempura fucking while that motherfucker works on a thing. It's like, I could have fucking paid off his college dues, but he's like, no, I have to do this honestly. Fucking, and they're like, sorry, goddess, about our problem. Oh yeah, your problem. So I'm here to judge your character. Hey, are you just using Yuki-Onna to get revenge on all the people who wronged you in the past? And he's like, what? It's like, yeah, that's totally what you're doing. I can fucking see it. I can see this a fucking mile away. Because like, and she points out various things. It's like, hey, the cops also said there was footage. I haven't talked to my wife in a year, that kind of thing. It's like, but there was footage of you talking to a woman in town from like a few months ago that looked exactly like your wife. And it's like, and Yuki-Onna's like, I look like your ex-wife. And it's like, yeah, don't think about that too much. All right. Type. Yeah, that definitely has a type. Yes, so she's claiming, she's again fabricating an entire story. Can you tell that he's befriended the Yuki-Onna to get her to kill all of the people who wronged him in the past. So he's killed his wife, made an alibi with the Yuki-Onna, so the Yuki-Onna will believe him. So when he goes to jail for murder, he's like, oh, I need you to kill all the people who betrayed me in my ex-company and fucked me over. Would you do that? They're out to get me. And she'd be like, absolutely, I will. That's your evil plan, isn't it? And he's like, dude, no, that's crazy fucked up. I wouldn't do that. So Yuki-Onna, after this very long story of all the ways in which all the ways in which your man is going to use her to use her power to freeze people to death, to enact revenge, she gets on her hands and knees like, please goddess, I don't mean to question you or anything, but like he might look like a fucking piece of shit on his face and everything, but he's actually like a really decent guy. He wouldn't fucking do that. I know him for sure. And she's like, yeah, that's fine. All of that thing I just said was bullshit. And they're all like, what the fuck? Why would you make us like question each other's thing like that?
Sorry to put on a little display for you there. I know it was very, very hard for you to go to, but I had to do it to get to the truth.
Yeah, and the way she puts it was, it was to enlighten you, and to the guy, not to the Yuki-Onna, is like, I had to bring her to the brink, where make her realize, because she said like while she was on her knees, like, yeah, I would kill for him if he asked, but like I'm not gonna, like I swear, like he's not that kind of guy. But she's like, to enlighten him, basically, she's like, I needed you to see that she'll fucking like get down on her fucking knees and and not betray her goddess, but like question like the fucking orders of her goddess and shit like that, because that's how much she gives a fuck about you. Maybe your life is still fucking worth living. And he's like, oh fuck, you're right. I've been a fool all this time. I clearly have a hot girlfriend now, and I married a fucking woman who didn't love me in the first place because she looked like this woman. It's like, and that's probably why she tried to murder me and split up with me in the first place anyway. So it's like, yeah, I've kind of been fucking up the last few years of my life, and she's like, yeah, my story was full of holes anyway. Like, if you really wanted to get her on side, and you guys would be fucking, and then she's making like, you know, the finger and circle gesture. That's like, because that's how you get her on board.
Let me tell you about that, huh?
Yeah, I think the way she puts it is like, if you really want to get her on board, you guys would be making babies. Is the way she says it, and I was just like, I guess she's technically right. That would be a good way to get the Yuki-Onna on side. But she's like, but what about the whole thing? Like, what about the alibi and stuff? It's like, oh, don't worry, I've already solved the case. And it's like, what? It's like end of episode. So next episode, we're going to see how she already solved this off fucking screen before she came here, by the look of it. Yeah, still a lot of fun. She's still a dick in the most funny way to other people's benefit.
I've got this all figured out, but you go on. You tell me the God of wisdom on how this went down. Yeah.
Yeah, and construction spends most of the episodes constructing a scenario that did not fucking happen in order to fuck with people. It's still good stuff.
Then we got Vinland Saga, Season 2, Episode 3, Snake, in which we meet Fox and Badger, a couple of guests at the farm.
Guests who hang around for all the time and tend to keep out other guests from other manners.
Unwanted guests, you might say.
And the son's like, he's bemoaning his life and he wants to fight them to test his fighting skills, and they kick a table.
It's very funny that they brought him here to, like, the guys are wrestling in the fort, and they're getting drunk, and the son's getting drunk, but like a really bitter, complaining drunk. And they're like, this was not fun at all. I'm getting sober just looking at this fucking guy. I thought this would be way more fun.
Like,
reckon the buzz.
They kick a table at him, and then they're like, okay, we're going to make you a man. We'll find somebody for you to kill. Once you kill somebody, you won't be afraid of fighting anymore, because you'll see how weak a human being is. And
we got dudes just for that, you know. They're just like dudes that you own. You can just fucking, you know, just get rid of something that you own.
Their lives are things you own, and you can do whatever the fuck you want with lives you own, and they're your dad's, so that means they're yours. So yeah,
I think one of the chapters adapted this episode is called "The People That You Can Kill."
These two dudes.
But we get another Thorfinn having a nightmare scene. I believe we get to see one of these nightmares next week.
You will.
The gifs I saw on Twitter.
I can take a wild guess at a bunch of it, but
the opening credits give you some indication. Yeah,
that is extra material that's not in the comic.
Oh, good stuff. I did appreciate Witcher Man, like, waking up in the morning, being a really loud snorer, taking a piss against a tree. Like, contrasted to Thorfinn, obviously having nightmares that you can probably fucking guess from watching season 1. It's like, you have a very easy life as a slave in comparison to Thorfinn and his huge amount of trauma. Yeah.
So they bring them up to the fort, and they basically go to the sun. Okay, right, kill this guy.
That's not before they get a meet cute with the girl of his dreams. Who,
oh yes.
Hey, she's a slave too. Yeah, I'm a slave. You're a slave.
We got so much in common. Oh my god, it's gonna work out after all.
He accidentally manages to make her like compliment his face, because like, oh, did you guys want to wash your face by the well? That's great. He's like, oh, wouldn't improve my face. It's like, I think you have a nice face. And he's like, I'm gonna fucking hold on to that compliment so fucking well.
Give me 3 years.
Like, he's snickering to himself as he's being brought up to the fort to be killed. It's like, what are you fucking laughing about, slave guy? And it's just like, oh, it's like, oh no, I'm not complaining. You got spunk. That's great, because where we're going, you're gonna need spunk. Because it's like, all right, son of our lord, fucking slice him up nice and good, like clean cut. Off you go.
But yes, he's trembling. So Ida attacks him, yells at Thorfinn to go and tell the master, because Finder points out they're not their people to kill. It's
even the son is kind of like, those are my dad's, not my slaves, so I'm not sure. I'd have to pay him off for them at the very least.
This is like breaking into the drinks cabinet. You shouldn't be in there.
But
Fox is just like, you're just making excuses. Just fucking go for it, you know.
But Thorfinn's like, let him go back farming. You can kill me instead.
We got a lot of work to do. I mean, like, we're in the middle of the harvest, so if you let him go back farming, I'll just stand here and you can kill me.
Oh yeah. Well, if I did this to you.
Well, Fox is like very logical about it. It's like, I kill people for a living because people are afraid of being killed, right? And if people aren't afraid of being killed, like what you're saying now, that would put me out of a job. So I'm going to try and make you scared by just chopping little bits off you.
And this gives enough time for a character we've not met yet to wake up from the table he'd been sleeping at with a book over his face, walk up to the fort.
Grandad, where'd you breakfast?
No,
Fucking
get your
middle of the
fucking
day, get the fuck
breakfast.
up.
Ah, fuck it, I'm going back up to the fort. Like, it very, very slow get up to the fort while all this shit is going on.
And then
Pretty
also
great.
a slow watch what's going on, and then eventually, after Fox threatens to take Thorfinn's eye out, intervene in this and smash Fox in the face which is a blow even more violent than the slicing up of Thorfinn's body.
Because Thorfinn doesn't care about the damage done to him, but Fox is, as soon as he hears like Snake kind of go like, "Hey, stop,"
Yes.
and he's like, "Oh shit!" It's like, "Fox, come over here. Come
Dad's
here,
home.
come here, I want you."
Oh no.
Yeah, what do you want? Dude, Badger, what the fuck's going on here?
Yeah. End of episode.
It's good shit, man.
What's having the crack, boss? It's all right. It's a bit of fun.
I guess while the snake's away, the fox must play. I don't fucking know.
I know. We're like seeing like in the vestiges of that. You know, Vikings had some good ideas. Maybe like bathing. That's a pretty good idea. Keep that
Very
one.
healthy.
This whole thing about fucking like killing a dude or you kill a dude in a fight and you go to heaven. It's just like, yeah, it's dumb because it perpetuates stupid macho bullshit that just gets you killed younger and younger and younger. It's about fun. It's just about being a warrior. It's all about. So you know, it's all going to be coming at Thorfinn and saying, "Thorfinn, you got to remember who you are. Live up to your family name."
But not the killing part. The other bit.
No, the cool thing, you know, your dad said fun saying you can just like really fuck up a dude but not kill him, just to kind of teach him a lesson. And no, this is a good example there, right? Because
Or you could follow the Viking thing of exploring and not necessarily like murdering for a living. That's the thing they did was cool.
you gotta find an outlet for the energy, man, and put it towards a positive end. But you won't realize that because he's still kind of a bit, you know, just being a dumb kind of thing. But he's basically fun saying, "From what's the point?" He's just so fun beaten down. Haven't had a single good thing happen to me in my entire life. So you know, if you want to cut me up, I understand you can cut me up. Doesn't mean it make a difference to me. Can't get any lower than this. So, but Thorfinn, if you had to bomb, the only way is up, isn't it? It's like, come on, he's got to figure it out, man. Maybe Einar is the loud idiot you need to pull you up out of it.
The comments on Crunchyroll are hilarious.
Are people annoyed? Or
There's people annoyed, but there's also people who are like, this is my favorite, the one which has got the most thumbs up, one of the most thumbs up in replies is, "Can't wait for Thorfinn to boss up again." And there's lots of people going, yeah, about that.
Oh man.
He's
been through some shit, lads. Were you not paying attention? Yeah.
Will Thorkel come back? Eventually, but he's getting up in years. He says it himself. Like,
we should see him this season. We will. We should, in theory, go and check on what's happening in the provinces. But yes, people getting their hopes up for much Viking violence are going to be sorely disappointed.
Yeah.
No, we're seeing the results of Viking violence on society. So yeah.
Maybe between like that and Trigun, there's going to be a lot of folks who are wishing for this thing to kind of morph into something that's not ever going to be. Waiting for it to morph into something. They're going to hang on to the end to fun and say, "I can't believe I watched to the end." I was like, you know, unhappy all this time.
But the latest volume, even without the violence, it's now turned into something even more tense because there's like we're trying to do everything peacefully, but there's this one thing which is a threat of violence constantly lurking in the background. Which somehow makes it more tense than when there was fighting all the time.
It's because it's something like precious that he's protecting now. It's fragile, and then like, you know, once it's gone, it's gone.
To lose. Yeah.
Easy to smash something, but to build it out back again, it took this dude years. He had to fucking like fight in Viking wars and invasions. He lived as a slave on a farm for God knows so long, and then he had to do all that. You can't just kind of start up square one the following day like nothing happened. It's like
plenty of good stuff to come. The old Vinland Saga. Then we got High Card, Episode 3, Crazy Rich. in which we meet the 5th character from the credits, Leo. I think his name is. That's correct. Isn't it?
Yeah, but our main guy hasn't seen the credits, so he doesn't know he's the 5th character.
No.
Doesn't even know he's the fucking like the scion to the Pinochle automobile group, and thus his boss also in the high car group. But he's just some rich kid who's getting kidnapped off the street. You know, it's his duty as like a champion of justice to get him out of this jam. They both get arrested.
Yes, he gets told off, endangering the public and the potential kidnap victim by just firing in the streets.
So you stole a Vespa, like chased after a car, shot into its fucking tires, it swerved off the road. How many people do you think could have got injured in that whole fucking situation, bud?
Damn it, Finn! I'm tired of your renegade ways.
Yeah, so they arrest the 2 brothers who kidnapped him, and then they arrest Finn as well for stealing a moped and bring in Leo as an eyewitness. And then they're being interrogated, and then Leo just leaves, and Finn's like, "We just leave? Okay, I'll leave."
Because there was a guy standing there, but he's not stopping us, so I guess we can just go.
Yeah, because again, like the one detective now, because it's the rookie with rookie girl with the freckles, in the glasses, and saying, "I can't see the ear, you're under arrest." And the rookie says, "Stand down, rookie. You don't want to arrest and get involved with these things." But boss,
this is above your pay grade. That kind of
Don't ask questions. You want to live long in this business.
And then the police station is attacked by the big sister of the 2 kidnappers,
who happened to be in a fire cult. And wouldn't you know it, she just drew the fire card.
It fluttered in through the window while they were doing their ritual. It's like, oh, it's a blessing from heaven.
Like I like the way the 2 brothers were kind of claiming it's like, his dad owned or had a contract with our factory, but he canceled the contract and shut us down and put us out of business. And I was just like, was it due to massive incompetence or trying to run a fire cult? It's like, I don't know the reasons why you guys were shut down, so I'm kind of curious.
Don't know if the fire cult came later or not.
We don't know. Yeah,
but it's kind of course you get a thing off of Leo. It's like, he could be a bit indifferent to those kind of plights. Now he will kind of admonish a small child, make its fun ice cream on Finn's fucking newly pressed suit, newly tailored suit, and saying, "Hey, now don't run on the tube. You gotta be a good boy."
Rude.
Yeah, it's gonna be a bit mannered, gentlemen.
And the kid's like, "Yeah, okay." It's like, yeah.
Whatever.
And this is his first time on the tube. It was also his first time having a hot dog, so he's living the low life and enjoying it.
Slumming it. Then the sister comes along and sets the tube carrot on fire. So it's like, okay, if you want everybody to get burned up in this tube, you're gonna come with us. Sacrifice you to our heathen god.
But then Chris shows up with $1 million, and they're like, "We asked for $10 million for the kidnapping."
That's not your money. That's my money.
Because his card allows him to exchange any of his money for anything.
It says any money nearby. So can he take money out of your wallet by turning
Possibly,
it into a
if
thing?
it's in range. So that was like the bottom $1 million now. I know we kind of made it rain and kind of distracting, but like we'll say that's most of £1 million. That was a very expensive Stinger missile launcher or RPG.
I think there was a bit of money like flying around after, like seemingly. So it's just like, I don't think he spent all of it.
No, because he had enough to make a plaster.
Half singed fucking like tenner. It's just like, that's probably worth a plaster. Yeah, I think he spends too much. Like most of that singed note is tip basically. Yeah.
How much can a banana cost? $10.
Exactly.
It's very billionaire detective. Its power.
It's a little less fun because he doesn't have to ring up someone to buy the bridge that he wants to do a motorcycle stunt on, that kind of shit. But it's still fun. Yeah.
It's if I talk about like bringing Bungo straight off it, that was literally fucking F. Scott Fitzgerald's power. He's as powerful as depending on what his bank balance is.
He didn't turn it into stuff. He turned it into what his sane power level was at the time. Yeah, basically.
We also learned that Finn has amnesia about his parents.
It's going to be a lot more like Akka than you thought.
Yeah.
And then after the credits, we learned that Leo is very cold towards his father and also his father's assistant, or possibly another brother. Yeah, Owen.
Yeah. Because again, the kidnappers were threatening him all the time. Ring your dad up and tell him we want $10 million and an apology. And he's like, I don't know my dad's number. It's not that he'd pick up for me anyway. And they're like, what the fuck are you talking about? Your dad wouldn't pick up. It's like,
And Leo's the branch manager, and they're going to have a branch manager meeting with the other two branch
I think
managers.
he might have my favorite specific suit yet, because it has like 2 door knockers on it. I think that's great.
Yeah, I guess when you're the manager, you get to wear that.
It's a good look. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, with the kind of some elements that are brought up here, like the amnesia thing and that, and it's just like, I think this will be like it's got style out the wazoo, and no, style can be substance. I'm getting a hint of concern here that it could be just like if you get further into it, like just all style, and it's just no concern for me because the preview then it's just like going to be about Wendy. What's her deal with things? It's just like, yes, she's master of the blade, but the blade is also the master of her. She's got like her normal side and her crazy bloodlust side. It's like, yeah, I've never seen that before in my life.
The girl from Durara, yeah.
Yeah.
It's one of the samurai from the current thing of Black Clover. Yeah, it's like I've seen this, but again and again and again,
Yeah.
we'll see if it manages to get these very standard tropes and like play with them in a fun way, because it does seem to be having a lot of fun. So
And
we'll see.
Spirit disproportionate response. I need to go back and check, but like the elder sister with the 7 of clubs, the firepower, is the one saying, "Oh yeah, she's fucking wild to deep end now. She's burning shit up," and it was a cool action scene they had at the end.
Mhm.
But the two brothers are just like 2 dudes. They're just like kind of up on this. Did they get fucking blown up as well?
I guess so.
It felt kind of callous in that regard. Upon be nice to kids, but only kids. Whether they're poor or not.
They were presented as very ineffectual criminals and kidnappers and stuff. Because even when he shoots the car at the start of the episode and hides out in the restaurant, like the 2 guys walk into the restaurant, it's like, hey, what the fuck? Why did you shoot our car? It's just like, and then they just have a very light brawl. There's not really much stakes with those guys. They're very comedy characters, so they kind of deserve it. It's weird.
I just hope like Finn will pull them up a bit more on some of that kind of because he has amnesia. So I mean, it spells one thing: he's the fucking last heir to the royal family who hold the cards.
Yeah.
It's fucking obviously that. But I hope they just like lose his. Oh yeah, he was raised in an orphanage. He's all up on the street, so he has empathy for people. And he would pickpocket for good. He would just offer jokes and give ice cream to small children. That's he's nice like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I hope he kind of pulls up some of these like these bougies. Because that's the fucking one point saying rocket launcher, you fucking bougie, putting that out.
Yeah.
There we've got Vampire Dies in No Time, Season 2, Episode 3, Love Call of Sanzu, Do Your Best Sagio, and Chaos Man is back. So, first episode, Love Call of Sanzu, we're introduced to a new character. It's another editor at the book publishers, and she wants to take over as Ronaldo's editor because she's the biggest Ronaldo fan there is.
This is the only part I managed to watch, but I did like the way that while it presents her as coming across as crazy, like a crazy fan, like Ronaldo doesn't even realize she wants to publish his stuff. You can see why she'd be a bad pick for him as an editor, because then he'd get nothing done. Because he wouldn't be forced to at fear of torture.
Also, like some meetings will sound wildly inappropriate if you take them in a certain way, which is what like a lot of you, because he's getting fed the lines from Dralok about fun. Okay, just listen to what I tell you, and he will fall for your charms in no time flat. I want to get inside you. I want to get inside your brain. It's like, oh, calm down.
That was too much. I mean, like, I really need to apologize. Scold me. It's just like, whoa, fucking, we're moving way too fast here. It's good.
It's an amazing performance as well.
It's very good. Yeah.
Just seeing more hints of like the inner world of this editors of the particular publishing output, and it's like we divvy up the clients based on mortal one-to-one combat.
Yes, it's a very Fist of the North Star influenced editorial scheme.
It's a very cutthroat business, so yeah.
I was looking something else up, and I believe there's more editors we will meet down the line.
Oh, brilliant! Because I thought that boss we saw in the prior one was just like their idea of it. No, he literally looks like this shirtless fat dude with the glasses. And shit. I was just like,
well, you see his photo in the editor's comments at the front of the monthly magazine, so that was in the record.
And then in the second story, we are reintroduced to a guy we have definitely met before. He reminds you that we have met him before.
That's why I barely remember this bit until you just said it, because he's just been that dude who was there to help out or carry something.
Yes, he's Sagio, one of the Vamp Control officers he's taken on a mission with Handa, which involves planting celery inside Ronaldo's apartment.
Sagio, are you sure you want to be like a more prominent character in this thing? I don't think you do. I really don't think you know what you're in for, and it's the kind of shit we got put up with.
And then they come home early. Handa has completely disappeared, and Sagio has to constantly hide further and further until he's trapped inside the closet, and pretending to be a vampire celery from inside the closet. He makes friends with the vampire garlic. Which is probably one of the best jokes, is every time it cuts, the vampire garlic has arranged more and more treats for his new friend who lives in the closet with him now. Then Hinaichi shows up because she says, I've come for some more snacks. I mean, I've come to observe Drackle some more.
My report, yes.
And he's like, oh my goodness, what am I going to do now? And eventually he does step out and reveals that he was hiding in there with the celery. Oh, they set up a celery trap, which got poured all over the table when they ran away.
It's like a celery water feature.
Yes.
Just installed on. It's going to come out of his drawer somehow. I don't know. It's spilled everywhere. It's disgusting.
Oh yes, because Handa reappears at the end to save Sagio. By taking
Sagio puts him out the fucking window, as Handa is often want to do or happen to him. Now, Sagio, stay in your place.
And the third part, we introduced to another new character who may have appeared before, because we get reference to an earlier appearance of him. Kei Kantaro. He's the newest member of Vampire Control. He used to be a cop who was attacked by Suji
Nagari, the deadliest vampire ever. He cuts you with deadly blades.
Yes.
You know, he's not actually inadvertently a nice guy at all at heart.
And he's looking for him, and he runs into him, but he doesn't recognize him at all because the Sujiri Nagiri in his head is 5 meters tall and has various other things that the real one does not. And he tries to lure him to his death. He's like, okay, I'll go finish this guy off. I'll get back on. I'm down on my luck, but if I kill this guy, I'll be heading back towards the top. And then stabs him in the back, but turns out he's prepared. He's wearing armor. And he goes, did you see? He turns around and asks him, because he's also, what does he say? His name's Sujiki, is the name that he's given him. Do you see who did that? And then the pair of them essentially then go on a date for the rest of the episode as they try and hunt down the guy who's having a date.
Might be some clues in this swimming pool. Let's go. Might be some clues in this pub. Let's get some beers and hash it out. Nightclub. He's got to be inside here. Purpose to hide.
And they run into various characters we met before, characters we haven't met before.
Sisters and siblings of characters we do them before, because like the vampire queen, her sister is like, meets him in the pub. It's just like, it's a grand time out. As again, Suji Nagari is just like the dread vampire of rumor and legend. Pretty nice when you get down to it. He's actually a grand nice guy. You could have killed him any time, but just kind of went with it. This wasn't the right opportunity. Also, he wore a stab-proof swimming costume, so couldn't get him there either.
And then at the end, Kantaro Kei is doing his report to the captain, the one who looks like Ronaldo but with the false moustache. And there's just a very hard cut as he's explaining to the various places they went in search of this vampire. As if to indicate that the captain was not pleased with the fact that he had just basically gone on a date rather than actually find any sort of vampires.
Did you expense all of this? Oh no.
Yeah. Oh, it was all on the job. Yeah.
But yes, plenty of silly stuff as per normal.
Yeah, I watched this fairly late at night on break at my shifts, and I probably was as tired by then, but it's probably it was intended to be kind of increased in volume this one, and then by the third segment, I wasn't sure I was in the mood for another shouty dude with this with his comic book, and said, we've got enough of these guys, and most of these times these are always fucking up here. I like those characters that have a bit more like, arrange some action for Dralok for being, he's only got one joke, he tries another one and say, no, but actually he does have layers, because he just has this like very haughty, confident attitude, because I'll die, but I'll come back to life, so there's no problem.
Oh, I forgot to mention the reason why Tsujigiri Nigiri backs off after the first attack is because after that he pulls out the weapon he's going to kill Tsujigiri Nigiri with, which is this giant pneumatic
pile driver
for stakes, and he's like, "Oh my goodness! If that hits me, I'm a goner. There's no recovery
That's gonna hurt.
from that."
Yeah.
Saw this in a video game once.
Yes, Kantaro he's not as an interesting performance as
We'll say Sanzu then right at the top.
Yes.
That's very energetic thing, but I guess is.
There's not too much energy in the second one. The second one's lower energy. It's just panic, internal panic.
Yeah.
Instead.
Which Ren it does that a lot, but it was like a sustained, just looking like burst of it. When it's kind of leaning on that too much, that's when it really starts to kind of lose me off a bit. So again, a bit more of a kind of a relate, but second series, lads. We can kind of explore more.
Where I disagree with Niall. I thought this was one of my favorite episodes of the entire thing so far.
All right.
I mean, I'm definitely going to watch the whole thing now, but I did enjoy the first part. That was very high energy.
Yes, the first part. I think the third part is technically the weakest.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
But it's still got good gags in it. But I think the first part has got the best comedy performance of the three, and I think the second part's got the best premise.
I still find it impressive that they can go, here's a new character, and here's how they play off the characters we know, and it's just like, yeah, this still works. How are you still getting this to work?
Yeah, and the second one's got some good silent gags with the vampire garlic. Yeah. It's it's probably my favourite thing currently airing. Probably also had the best action of any thing this week.
Oh man, that opening like duo with the editors, that was class.
Yeah.
Because her favourite thing is like the big Naruto style shuriken, it's as big as she is nearly, and from he's lobbing that around. Suka Komuro, that these guys are vampire hunters, as well. When you get to the end of that, it don't seem hunted many vampires, but they do it.
Yeah, then we got Suddenly Egyptian God, Season 2, Episode 3, Suddenly a Magical Return, in which we have the return of Magical Thoth. And he wants a mascot character, so they get...
He wants a mascot bird character, and the commentator points out that you are a bird character. It's like, no, not like me. I'll take a cat. That's a good one for a magical character. So, what does he rescue from the tree? Oh, her microphone has gone in the tree.
Yes.
So she can't put on the concert. So he has to, I'll rescue your microphone from the tree in a very impressive way, and he slowly floats up to the tree.
We do it for justice and for free concert tickets. I think that's pretty much there's two. Is the first story the cat mascot, and the second story rescuing the microphone?
Yeah.
They're very short episodes.
The second part is the magical Thoth one. Yeah.
I thought it was magical Thoth in both of them.
Wait, was magical Thoth in the start one as well?
Yeah.
No, you're right. Yeah, you're right. It's just two different jokes about magical Thoth, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah. This was where I was like, oh yeah, this is the stuff I liked from the first series.
Yeah. That contains a lot of pose for a photo. Like, that's not fucking even Egyptian at all. Come on.
I guess it is like a family thing, though. We're just like, come on, everyone get in. No, the tall people at the back, that kind of thing.
Well, obviously, because we're so interested in ancient Egyptian culture, because, we have Medjed and all the fun things, like that. Obviously, they would, in turn, if they were allowed to, they'd be interested in our cultures and say, that's a big presumption to make on your part. Make us a comic and anime. That's okay.
But yeah, I like the stuff with the intervention of the narration in this as well, so. That was that. Then we got Giant Beasts of Arse, Episode 4, The Drifting Spears, in which we're introduced to our final main party member, whose name I've already forgotten. What was her name? The other beast lady who's got.
She's a rabbit lady. I can't think of her name.
No, I can't remember if she's got a the either. She may be sensible and doesn't have a the. Romana.
I feel like you get a
That's it.
yeah. You mostly take a the if you're like a warrior fighty type. And I
Yes.
assume she actually is, which might mean she might have a the that she hasn't introduced herself.
E.g. the mind.
Yeah. So they're still hanging out at the Beastman village where Jiro
It's still raining, so yeah.
is rinsing the locals of their cash by this strange fantasy gambling game they play, with rolling sort of elongated dice. And then this Romana comes in. She sees Jiro with Kumi, and then challenges him to. Well, I quite like how it's shot in that we don't see her cleavage until she's using her cleavage against Jiro.
Yeah. She she at the start when she's kind of walking up the village, she's obviously traveling. Her rabbit ears perk up on hearing something, but then she pulls the hood up, and it's just like she's keeping herself really kind of calm and just like, oh yeah, kind of thing. It's like, oh, you played what's the dice you have there? It's like, oh, it's a dice game. And it's like, oh, I've never played it. Do you mind if I play it? That's the thing you play for money, right? I only have a little. And he's like, oh no, I'll take it easy on you. And then she's like leaning in on the table. It's like, I fucking have all your money, bitch. So yeah, it's
and she's like, I'll take if you want to win your money back, I'll take the girl.
It's like, we can't gamble the girl. Let me just summon my magic spear. Come over here, magic spear. I'm putting my magic spear up on the fucking table.
Essentially, what the situation was is Romana thought that Jiro was going to be selling Kumi as a slave somewhere.
Because of his fucking very unscrupulous looking face, which they all point out, you do have a very unscrupulous looking. You do look like you're up to shit.
And
basically.
so yes, she was planning on rescuing Kumi from this life of slavery that Jiro was going to sell her into by winning her in a gambling game. But then
and Jiro kind of saying, it's like, oh, so you know that's not the case now, and that I'm helping her out, and that's fine. So you can give me back my stuff and my money. And she's like, no,
no, it's my
fucking
spear
won
now.
that off you.
Didn't come up. Okay.
And then, oh my goodness, the little girl who can see into the future has, I guess, as well as read minds. The village is going to be flooded, so we've got to get to the emergency. What do they call them? Shelters.
Shelter.
Yeah, shelters
yeah.
is
But
what they call
it's
them.
basically they're going up thing of it, and even your man Jiren is kind of like it's like, shouldn't we just put some sandbags up? He's like, no, it's fucking like it's a big flood that tends to be around here, and the houses get washed away. As long as everyone's safe, we can rebuild the fucking houses. Who cares?
Yeah, pack our
Which
bags,
is very
we'll
sensible.
go up to the hill.
And also, when you see the fucking waves come in, I was like, there's no way they were sandbagging that out. Like, the whole fucking trees being washed away, basically. Yeah.
They go look for the other hunter goes to look for some stragglers, and then instead finds a sea beast.
Yeah, so it's some sort of lake monster that's getting washed in with the flood, and he's like, don't worry, I'm the invincible guy. And he's obviously like getting fucked up. His arm is still broken from the last episode, and he keeps landing on that. His sword gets broken. It's like, I'll take care of it. It's like, dude, you need to sit a couple of these fights out before you're going to be any fucking good. But yeah, they get him back, and it's like, hey, there's a lake monster. You mind taking care of it? He's like, oh yeah, no bother. And Yuan's gonna like, you can borrow the spear, but I'm going to keep the kid here because I need her to help me mix medicine. Yeah. And he's like, it doesn't have red eyes, does it? And it's like, no, it didn't have red eyes. It's like, oh, that's grand. So the excuse is, yeah, she has the girl has to stay behind, but obviously Romana's trying to keep her out of trouble, basically. Out of danger, I should say.
Yes, but then the other hunter, who do they send back to get her to come once they realise it does have red eyes?
It's the... No, they don't send anyone back because your man... Like, because Romana's kind of saying, like, yeah, all those paladins are pieces of shit. They use up clerics.
Oh, no, he's already back. He goes, oh, no, I must be poisoned. You should go.
I must be poisoned by the giant beast. Oh, my arm, my leg, my ears.
Go and speak to the cat chapeau. She's got an antidote.
She's got my medicine.
Yeah.
And he's bad. He's very bad acting, but
yes.
One's kind of like, all right, I fucking see how it is. Okay, fair enough.
Yeah. And eventually, yes, they combine. They defeat the beast. But yes, the issue is that Romana has a low opinion of paladins in that they... In her opinion, they just use clerics for their power and use them up and burn them out.
And Jiren seems kind of acting a little like that, but we know from the flashback, like, he doesn't like that attitude either.
Yeah.
He only fused with her because it's like, oh, this thing has the red eyes thing, which means it has like a force field on its scales, and you can't really do anything about that. need the extra boost.
Yeah, so send them on the way with the proviso that they've got to take Maran with them as well, so he can see the world and not be so trusting. And also, Romana's coming along is like, I still own that spear, mate, so I'm coming with you.
So you have to take me with you until you can pay me back. That's just the way it is. And they're like, yeah, we don't have any money. It's just like, no, the village elder gave us a load of shit. And they're like, ooh, a bunch of shit. Which I assume she's going to take ownership of because she seems like the money-hungry kind of person. Yeah.
Yeah, I assume that case that she's got is probably full of money.
Oh, yeah. Quite likely.
So yes, we now got the full party. We don't check in on any other characters this episode. It is just purely.
I'm really worried about those 2 random guards. I hope they're okay.
Particularly as it's only a 12-episode series.
Yeah.
This was the vibe I was getting. I was like, oh my goodness, it feels like Fina, Pirate Princess, and Sakugan, where it feels like they're making a 12-episode series and they haven't realised it yet. But because I was like, can you really afford narrative-wise to hang out in a single village for 2 episodes when you've got 12 episodes to tell your story?
It's like, even though it might be a giant beast, but it's a small-scale story we're trying to tell. But
yeah, or they're hoping to get a second season. Like Sakugan was like, "Oh, we've just
please,
just made half a season."
So it's like the hat's off for the fun, saying, "You want to hear the rest of it, Mister? You can get, finance or production for a second show."
I mean, like the cat puns alone, it deserves some more. I'm trying to think what my favorite one was in this episode. It was a meow one, but I can't remember what the feck the pun was.
Yeah.
There were some good ones, yeah.
Yeah, it's essentially now rather than sticking the word "nya" at the end of every sentence, like
sometimes they do when they're lazy, but
yes,
most of the time they come up with a very good pun.
Like a weaker translator would do. Whenever there's a sentence which ends in "nya," they take another word and somehow work a cat pun into it.
Yeah, there was. Oh, what was doing that? I'm going to presume how you showed and jumped in because we know at least one person turns into a cat. They're on the regular in there. But yeah, I've noticed that all right now. I mean, it wasn't just in that, like, they're like, going a bit. Yeah, it's a dumb pun anyway. People love making that, so we may as well put it in there. Like, it's like something that works. Well, something that works. It's the spirit of the line or the spirit of the phrase translated across to the parlance of whoever it's being sent to. So
it works for. And then it also will. Once we had the dog one last episode, then it also adds like an audio clue as to what might be going on with this particular.
Holy
species.
Mother of God of Dog.
And that's it for this week. Next week, Detective Conan's back. Also, Bungo Stray Dogs. Possibly Bungo Stray Dogs was supposed to be this week, and I forgot to put it in the list. But maybe not. Who knows? It was a good episode. I'll tell you about it next week.
Fire Hunter could be quenched.
It may have been the best thing I watched this week, because I was like, "Oh yeah, Bungo Stray Dogs," but it's not the light novels. It's fucking amazing.
Yeah, we'll cover it next week if we don't, since we don't talk about it this week. Yeah,
and we'll be back next week then with more of the same. Goodbye.
Bye.
See ya.
Let me find the right button.